world. It's Quan. I'm gonna speak on. Something. I had a group earlier, and I just wanted to bring it to you. So I'm gonna talk about emotions, and I'm gonna talk about emotions during addiction and honestly, really in your recovery phase, because I think it's something a lot of people don't talk about, and you don't really think about it, and it plays a major part. Because when you finally get in recovery and you and you get clean, uh, your emotions are gonna be all over the place, male or female. If you're an emotional person or not, your emotions are gonna be all over the place because you have suppressed your emotions for so long, right? Think about it. In the streets, you're plotting, you're scheming, you're scamming, you're manipulating. You have no time to deal with your depression and your anxiety and anger and trauma, and you have no time to even try to deal with that stuff. One is plaguing you to keep using, and two, I can't be, you know, you can't be soft. You got to it's a dog eat dog world. I'm gonna get you before you get me. I gotta cross somebody else. I gotta get over on somebody. It's the name of the game, right? The streets and drug addiction and all that. It isn't this. Oh, I love you, bro. I'm a honorable. No, it's none of that. There's no honor amongst thieves. So all of that, I love you, bro, and do the right thing. That's out the window. We are in drug addiction. And before I be sick, throwing up, withdrawing, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And if that's crossing you out, I'm sorry. Now, I had some morals. I didn't get over on, I would like to think I didn't get over on my best of friends and my closest friends. But just because you're not taking somebody's money doesn't mean you're not getting over on people. When you're asking people for money, when you're trying to come up with a conniving, manipulating story, that's still getting over on them, just on another realm. I'm using our friendship and your love for me to fabricate something just so you can give me some money. And I'm not caring about the things that you have going on. You especially my friends that wasn't in drug addiction. If I hit them up and ask them for money and stuff, like I'm not like they don't have their own lives. You know what I'm saying? So there's not a lot of time for your emotions, man. And so when you get into your recovery and you get sober, those emotions hit hard, especially that first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. It hits hard. You're going to be emotional because people are going to know that a lot of people, if they know you're going to recovery and stuff, you're going to get some people are going to tell you they're proud of you and stuff, and you're not sitting back numb in pain all day every day. So you're going to think about a lot, man. You're going to think about a lot. And that's one thing you're gonna have a lot to do, is a lot of time to think about what the things you've done, man. You feel me? Even if you're at a treatment center or something that you're doing a lot of things every day, you're still gonna think about the things, because it's just how your mind works, man. And you're gonna want to apologize. You're gonna want to make things right. You're gonna just think about the things that your exes have done to you and things you've done to family and all of this stuff, man. And your emotions, you're gonna be very emotional. At least I was, and I've seen a lot of people that was. But it's a step, and it's a stepping. Everything are step by steps, and it's a stepping stone. So, learning how to, I always say, getting sober is a learning experience. We have to learn how to get clean and stay clean, right? It's not just, oh, I quit doing drugs. That's a major part of it, obviously, but there's other things that has to take place so you can be successful in this journey of recovery, right? So the number one is not getting high, not being around drugs, not putting yourself in a position to make a mistake, right? Of course. But there's other things. I had to change how I seen the world. I had to change how I reacted to the world. I had to change me. You know what I'm saying? I had to change. I had to heal things, and I had to understand the things that I'm going through and the things that I have went through. And there's a lot of understanding and growth and accountability that takes place. So it's not just not using. You know what I'm saying? If you get what I'm if I'm making sense of it. There's just a lot more that goes into it, and one thing that goes into it is honing in on your emotions and understanding, how to deal with your emotions. Understanding that, you know, getting angry or getting sad or feeling regret or guilt, um, it's a natural human emotion, and understanding just how to operate with it and how to move forward from it and understanding why it's there. And there's just a lot of understanding, right? So I see females get into, you know, the sobriety, the recovery, and um, let's say it's a single female. I've personally seen this. They've negated their self, and so they get clean and they start doing their self-care, you know. They start taking care of their hair. They start taking care of their nails. They're putting the makeup on. They're gaining their weight back. Their quality of life is getting back. And you know, I'm sure you've seen the pictures of night and day from people when they were as addicts to when they got clean, or before they were addicts, and the before and after pictures. I'm sure you've seen it. So it's the same thing. So I've seen females that they rough themselves up, in doing their addiction, and then they get clean and they get back to looking like themselves and beautiful, and they go on to do beautiful things, right? So, but in that moment when they're getting themselves back together with their self-care, the emotion side comes into it. So a lot of people hit up their exes that are still using, and that's a big way to go back into the relapse or just get back into that space. I've seen women, you know what I'm saying, you're just trying to figure it out. The same thing with me. I had a lot of regret and a lot of guilt that I dealt with and that I had to deal with just because of the things I've done. And I've reached out to people and apologized. And some people are going to be apologetic, accept your apology. Yeah, man, I know you was on drugs. I'm happy for you. Do your thing. I've offered to pay people back. Some people didn't want me to pay them back and all this. But here's the thing I had to understand. Some people are not going to be so forgiving and understanding. Some people are going to be like, hey, man, glad you're clean, but I don't want nothing to do with you, bro, and that's something you got to eat and you got to understand, because we do not get to tell people or feel some type of way because somebody's reacting to how we hurt them, right? If I hurt you, I don't get to be like, well, I know I hurt you, man, but I was just on drugs. So you have to understand, and you should forgive me. That's not how it works. If I hurt you, you can react to my hurt however you want. Understand? I have to eat that, understand that, and take accountability of that. Now, if you're 2-3 months in and you're hitting people up saying you apologize, you want to make it right, and they don't want nothing to do with you, that's understood. There has been time I've had people not want anything to do with me 3 months in. A year and a half later comes around, and we finally built a relationship back, and I've built some bridges back, and there's some people that still want nothing to do with me, and that feeling sucks. It's a sucky feeling. But it's something I have to understand. I have to live with and understand. I caused that, and I have to move forward and make a vow to not make somebody feel like that, you know, ever again in my life, you know. Um, Try not. I don't want to hurt anybody. Well, me and somebody can disagree on something. We can agree to disagree, but I don't want to hurt you because of my actions, especially something I've done on purpose, and that's something I've had to live with my recovery. I'll say this though: just because you've made mistakes, do not be a slave to your mistakes. I'm gonna make another video on that. Actually, don't be a slave to your mistakes. You know, you're genuinely sorry. I can only say sorry so many times. The way that I can prove to someone I'm sorry and I'm changing things is the way I live and my actions. You get what I'm saying? Making sure the next person that comes into my life, I treat them with love and empathy and understanding and care. You know what I'm saying? So I've only can say sorry so many times. You only want to hear sorry so many times. So if I've done something, I'm sorry, man. You know, I was a piece of crap. I get it. I was a drug addict. I was a piece of crap. You can even say my true colors were showing, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But I can't be a slave to my mistakes. Just because I've made those mistakes that I'm trying to do right, you don't have the right to hold that over my head forever. You don't have the right to box me in on just because of the things I've done. People grow and people move on. You know, people make mistakes, and I get that. But I don't have to be a slave to you, and I don't have to always try to show and prove to you that I've changed. I know I'm changing, and the best way I'm gonna do that is how I move forward in my life. You get that? So I don't have to be a slave to my mistakes. If I'm genuinely sorry and I'm working on it, that's the best I can do. And if you don't get with that, then we just have to agree to disagree and move on with our life. You know, and that's it. But getting back on the emotional side of it, you're gonna have to understand how to hone in on your emotions, how to work through your emotions, because it's gonna navigate. Is how you navigate your journey of recovery, and those emotions can really, you know, get to you, and they can make you make decisions that, you know, you might can rush some decisions, or you might can overthink some things. I always say, you know, if you got a hard decision that you feel like no, you know, choice is the right choice, make your choice and move on, you know, and just go with your move and understand that, you know, I was in a hard spot. I made my decisions. I'm gonna live with it and keep going. But emotions are a big thing that people don't really think about in addiction or recovery, or in life in general, you know, and that's something that you've got to understand, you know. Just if you, like I say, if you're an addict in active addiction, your emotions are out the window. Only time I use my emotions is when I was trying to manipulate something, you know. So those emotions are swept under the rug, and then you get clean, and all those emotions come back, and you got to learn how to navigate them, man. And you got to learn, you know, like I said, it's a natural thing to have your emotions, and it's a healthy thing to have your emotions, you know. Especially as men, we're told to you know, don't be emotional, don't cry in front of people and stuff like that. And I still work with that, you know. I don't think I can name a point where I cried to somebody, in front of somebody, and that's just not my thing. Maybe with my woman, but it's a thing that even sober people that never dealt with drugs are still having to deal with and navigate. Emotions are tricky, you know. But I just want to make that video, man. So if you're going through sobriety, if you're going through addiction, and you know, you might be an emotional wreck. Obviously, there's trauma that we deal with. There's, you know, just little nuances about your life and your situation, and just understand that honing in on your emotions is healthy. You know, there's a lot of people in graveyards and jail cells because they were emotional. You know, they couldn't have a hard conversation. They couldn't agree to disagree. And, you know, honing in on your emotions, learning to navigate your emotions, especially in your journey of recovery, it's gonna be a work in progress, and it's something that you know, you can understand and deal with, and actually, you know, come out on the other side and understand your emotions. And that's pretty much all I got to say for this video, man.